Around 2 in the afternoon, your brain doesn't get tired, it gets rationed. You know the moment. The screen is still there, the work is still there, but the part of you that thinks just clocked out. Most people blame willpower. Most people are wrong. Because the 2 p.m. crash isn't a discipline problem. It isn't even ordinary tiredness. It's an energy problem, and not the kind coffee fixes. Somewhere inside your cells, a decision is being made for you. What to keep powering and what to shut down, and the first thing on the chopping block is the most expensive thing you own thinking. Watch how it actually shows up. The morning is sharp, you're solving things, then lunch passes, and by mid-afternoon you're reading the same sentence 3 times. You reach for caffeine, and it buys you 20 restless minutes before the fog rolls back in. You're not lazy, your hardware is throttling. Here's the uncomfortable part. Caffeine doesn't make energy. Nothing you swallow is energy. Your body has to build it, molecule by molecule, all day long, and the factory that builds it can slow down. When it does, your brain is the first organ to feel it. To understand why, you have to meet the machine almost nobody talks about. Inside nearly every cell, you have tiny structures called mitochondria. They're your cell's power plants. Their entire job is to take the food you eat and the oxygen you breathe and convert it into one specific molecule your body actually runs on, ATP. ATP is the real currency of energy. Not calories on a label ATP, made fresh, on demand, inside you. Now here's the number that reframes everything. Your brain is about 2% of your body weight, but it burns roughly 20% of your energy even at rest. Gram for gram, it's the single most expensive tissue you have to run, and it has almost no way to store fuel. It lives hand to mouth, minute to minute, entirely dependent on those power plants keeping up. So what happens when the power plants can't keep up? When the raw materials they need start running thin, or the plants themselves get worn down by age and oxidative stress? The body does something ruthless and completely automatic. It triages. It keeps the lights on for the functions that keep you alive, heartbeat, breathing, temperature, and it starts dimming the ones it treats as optional, and to your ancient survival wiring, deep focus thinking, planning 3 steps ahead, holding a complex idea in your head, that is a luxury. It's the most energy-hungry thing your brain does. So it's the first thing that gets cut when the budget tightens. This is the whole thing in one sentence. The 2 p.m. crash is not your mind giving up. It's your mitochondria hitting a supply limit and your brain quietly rationing power away from thought to keep you alive. 1 failing power plant, 2 consequences, less fuel, and a brain that chooses to spend what's left somewhere other than your focus. You didn't lose willpower at 2 p.m. Your cells rewrote the budget without asking you, and this is why it creeps up on you over the years. Mitochondria don't just run low, they age. Studies show mitochondrial efficiency tends to decline with age, and the number of healthy power plants per cell can drop. The brain, being the hungriest organ, feels that decline first and hardest. That I used to be sharper feeling in your late 30s and 40s? Often this is a big part of it. This is exactly the kind of research Cognitive Insight Lab breaks down every week, the mechanisms nobody explains until you understand your own brain a little better. If that's useful to you, subscribing takes 2 seconds and keeps it coming. So what actually helps? Not magic maintenance. 4 levers in order of impact. Move right when the crash hits. A brisk 5-minute walk increases blood flow and oxygen to the brain, the raw inputs your power plants run on. It beats a 3rd coffee every time. Fix your caffeine timing, not your caffeine amount. Slamming more at 2 p.m. stacks, a crash on a crash. A smaller, earlier dose works with your rhythm instead of against it. Protect your deep sleep. Overnight is when a lot of cellular repair happens. Thrash your sleep and you start the day with fewer healthy power plants online. Feed the machine. Your mitochondria can't build energy out of nothing. Which brings us to the raw materials. A handful of specific nutrients sit at the exact center of how mitochondria make energy. CoQ10 helps shuttle electrons to actually produce ATP. PQQ, short for pyrroloquinoline quinone, is one of the few compounds research links to the creation of brand new mitochondria, not just protecting old ones. Acetyl-l-carnitine helps carry fuel into the power plant to be burned, and R-lipoic acid works as an antioxidant that helps protect the whole system from the wear that ages it. Most people get almost none of these in meaningful amounts from a typical modern diet. If you want to see these four working together in one clean, stimulant-free formula with the research on each one, I've put the version I'd look at first in the description. No caffeine, nothing to spike and crash. Just the raw materials your cells were already asking for. Honestly, if this changed how you think about your own afternoons, that's the whole reason this channel exists. Thanks for spending these minutes here. If it helped, a like tells me to make more like it, and I read every comment. This video is for educational purposes only and is not medical advice. Persistent fatigue or brain fog can have real medical causes. Please talk to a qualified healthcare provider before changing your diet, supplements, or routine.